And welcome back. You're watching Prime Edition. Time for us to have a conversation tonight. And on the State of a Nation, we're hosting the Member of Parliament for Kangema, Peter Irungu Kihungi, who has already joined us in studio. Thank you, Mheshimiwa, obviously, for leaving out your holiday celebrations to join us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Karibu sana.
Okay, asante.
To probably start us off, because you've seen that story we've run about Gatundu North and what is happening there with Karimenu Dam.
Yeah.
Considering the press statement issued by Muranga members of Parliament yesterday as regards earthy water and the provision of water in Muranga County, my question, probably even before we get to the earthy water services, is these projects, water projects in the central Kenya region, are they well thought out?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, is to thank you for also giving me a chance to be in the station and also to discuss some of the issues that are affecting our people. And first of all, I want to say hi to Kangema residents. And today's holiday, very few people understand it, mostly for Christians. And like Kangema, we don't have, Muslims are very few, even we don't have a mosque. But we just celebrated, we supported those who are our friends, and we had a good time. One thing I have to say is that the issues surrounding the dams, which are mostly done in our areas, is that the people surrounding those dams are not beneficiaries of the projects, because mostly we use gravity water. Therefore, any person who is in that locality cannot benefit from that dam. The dam mostly support the people who are downstream. Therefore, mostly, whenever, like Dakaine, you find the residents of Dakaine, nobody has ever benefited from the Dakaine dam. But now, what happens is that the government goes upstream and does the project for the people who are surrounding the dam. That's why there is a lot of discomfort for the residents around the dam. And my prayer is that mostly the government to continually consider those people who are surrounding the dam, who are affected by the dam, because they are not beneficiaries. That's why they are never comfortable with about the dam, because they cannot draw water from that dam. The water cannot flow to their yard, because mostly it is put on the upper areas. Therefore, most of the challenges that come with the dam, they feel them because they don't own it. They don't own the dam. But we have to do them. Because now water storage is a factor. Because we cannot be able to draw water directly from the river, then we have to store water, mostly when people are not using, maybe at night, so that can be stored, so that during the day when people are using a lot of water, can be able now to be filled up at night. Therefore, dams, we have to do them. We can't say that we can be able to do without dams, but I think the government should do more on incentives on people surrounding the dams, so that they may not have the challenges, they don't benefit from the project, and also the project has a negative impact mostly upon the people. And I guess maybe some of the people around Karimenu, there could be some people who have not yet been compensated. I think that one should be done as early as now.
Which obviously leads me to the question as a legislator, Mheshimiwa. What does the law say about, because water is a natural resource, I would imagine the Constitution has a stipulation on what the government should do before taking away this natural resource from the community living around there. What is the obligation of government in terms of provision or ensuring that that resource also benefits the local community?
What I want to say is that previously there were instances whereby you find that the government comes like Dakaine, how they did Dakaine. They came and removed the people around the area they were doing the dam. They did the dam. They did a tunnel to take water from Dakaine all the way to Ngedo. I think Thika River that flows to Ngedo. Ngedo is in Kiabu, where the treatment works are done. Therefore, there was nothing that was done to the locals surrounding that dam. But recently, what we are doing is that, and also that thing came up also when they came now to do the Northern Collector Tunnel. When they came to work on Northern Collector Tunnel, the budget, we did the budget for the tunnel and everything, the financing, but there were no projects for people surrounding the Northern Collector Tunnel. That's where now we started now having a discussion with the government. Whenever you are planning to do a project in a certain area, you must put in concept or consider the people surrounding those areas. Therefore, one thing I think is that that thing has not been internalized mostly by the people who are implementing. But mostly, most of the projects that we are doing, and most of which are the planning, even though there is not clear in the law, there is that concept whereby they have to consider the raw cost, the people who are surrounding that project, who are not benefiting from it, so that they can be considered. Therefore, it's not clear on the law, and I think we'll have to put it now clearly on the law, whereby we can now define how much may be a project of 20 billion, how much should go to the local communities. In a project of 100 billion, how much should go to the local community if it's not, they are not benefiting? Because whenever they are doing a road will benefit directly the people around that area. But whenever they do a dam, chances are very high those local people around those areas don't benefit. Then we come up with a concept whereby we can agree how much do we give back to the people who are surrounding those projects. But and also on the issue of compensation. Because compensation, sometimes they value the land. But whenever you value the land, some of the argument we make is that this person was not ready to move. Therefore, you should be able to pay that person for disturbances, a good amount of money. Because somebody has lived there for all the years, now you have come, you want to remove him from that area, to take him somewhere else. Therefore, the value of how much that person should be compensated should be negotiated. Should not go by the valuers or the laws on how maybe I want to buy a lot. The rates I get maybe whenever I'm buying a land, the rates that's the rates that they compensate that person. I think they should give that person consider him for disturbances, because that person was not willing to leave. But also they have to, because now we have to do some of these projects.
All right, and you have done well to mention the Northern Water Collector Tunnel, because it was a point of discussion around the 2017 elections and almost immediately after, leading to the former President Uhuru Kenyatta probably even calling leaders from Murang'a County to talk about the Northern Water Collector Tunnel. Unfortunately, it appears like the debate around the NCT fizzled away. What is the latest on the Northern Water Collector Tunnel? Because there was a lot of outcry, particularly from the area, the people around the NCT, that the water is supposed to benefit them first, probably before you bring the water to Nairobi, considering the fact that Murang'a has also given the people of Nairobi water in Dakaine.
Okay. One thing I want to say is that the issue of Murang'a in Nairobi just one. Because the only area that Nairobi can get water is from Nyandarua, that is Asumwa, which is a small river, but major rivers that can be able to bring water to Nairobi at a gravity are in Murang'a and Kiambu. Therefore, we must agree that the issue that came out is that when they planned for the master plan for Nairobi, the water, Northern Water Northern Water Collector Tunnel is a master plan for Nairobi County. That was then it was the Nairobi Water. That is for distribution of water in Nairobi. But the master plan did not consider the people around Murang'a, where they are tapping water. Therefore, when the project was being initiated, there was an outcry from the local leaders, mostly from us, whereby we said, you can't now continue as they did Dakaine. You can't continue coming for water from this area. You tap water, you take all the water to Nairobi, and the locals do not have water. Therefore, in a logic way, we reasoned and we found we don't make too much. I think it's not wise to say that we have to stop the project completely. We negotiated on the project that they have to implement as they go ahead with their too much. I think it's not wise to say that we have to stop the project completely. We negotiated on the project that they have to implement as they go ahead with their project of Northern Collector Tunnel. And also, we agreed, because then Murang'a County was at a tunnel water. We agreed in the consensus matrix where during those agreements, we agreed on the projects that we have undertaken. The projects are worth billions. Therefore, we agreed we will gradually continue doing them every year until we see that Murang'a people have, all people have connected drinking water and also irrigation water. The other issue we agreed is that Murang'a should be part of Adi Water, because Adi Water is the one that manages the water infrastructure in Nairobi and Kiambu, but Murang'a was at Tana. Therefore, Murang'a was brought to Adi Water, and that's around 2018. That was an agreement when we were negotiating on Northern Collector Tunnel. Now, when the Water Act 2016 was being done, there came a concept whereby we agreed that those people who are selected for board appointments in the waterworks, they should come from that surrounding, from that basin.
You're talking about Adi Water Service?
The Adi Water Service, Adi Water Works Development Agency. Therefore, the directors, the members of the board of directors and the chairman should come from that basin. We agreed that concept was because mostly for us, why we argued that is that we have now a consensus matrix that we have signed between us, Adi Water Works Development Agency and the Ministry of Water. Now, we have agreed these projects will be implemented maybe for a period of 15 years, because the government might not be able to get all the water, the monies at once. Therefore, we needed somebody who can be able to represent our interest on whatever we had agreed when we were negotiating on Northern Collector Tunnel. Therefore, that's the issue, the contentious issue that we have come around.
That is what you were addressing yesterday in Parliament.
That's what we are addressing yesterday in Parliament. Because now, when the appointments were done, we realized the people in the appointments, we don't know them. And mostly don't come from that basin. And mostly you find somebody maybe who doesn't have an idea of whatever we are doing. Because why mostly these things are supposed to be competitive is so that somebody who has the knowledge and somebody who will add value to that institution can be picked. But now you find maybe the appointments are done maybe for, I don't know, maybe for rewarding those people maybe who supported the government, which we agree. But as they do it, they must understand we have an agreement between us and the ministry as Murang'a residents on the project they are supposed to do, on what they are supposed to compensate the Murang'a residents as they give Nairobi water. Therefore, that's the issue that we raised. We realized most of the people that have been put in Adi Water Works Development Agency board are people who have no idea of whatever we had agreed. The thing were not done competitively. There was no advertisement, because whenever it's done competitively, we are able to call for people who understand Adi Water, and they can be able to apply for the positions, and then we get people who understand and who will add value to the institution. Therefore, the bone of contention between the leaders of Murang'a and the government is that we need somebody who will protect the interest of Murang'a people on that consensus matrix that we agreed.
And there's no representation so far?
So far there's no representation from Murang'a.
Despite the fact that the Water Act 2016 says clearly there should be a representation of people from the basin.
There should be a representation of people from the basin. The other issue is that recently, why it became now, we found that the problem is now going further, is when we realize there's some money which has been drawn from Adi Water and reallocated to other institutions.
Can I cut you short for a minute so that we take a commercial breather and then come back and talk? You talk about 1.1 billion shillings that has been reallocated. We'll talk about that. Let's take a short breather, a commercial one, and then when we come back, we pick up on that 1.1 billion shillings. Of course, alongside other national issues on the state of a nation. We're speaking to the Member of Parliament for Kangema, the Honourable Peter Irungu Kihungi. Don't go too far. We're back, you're watching the Prime Edition. We continue the conversation. We're speaking about the state of a nation, and particularly a statement released yesterday by Murang'a County Members of Parliament, and they're up against the Adi Water Development Services because according to them, the Water Act 2016 stipulates clearly that the membership of that board should mostly consist of people who come from the basin, and they say now that the membership of that board does not show the representation of the county of Murang'a. You were talking about 1.1 billion shillings reallocated.
Yeah.
From where to where?
I think we got word that there is some money that has been drawn from other water. They have gone to other water sectors. And I think one of the biggest problems we have is that some of the people who have gotten in the government don't have the history of the issues that we had between Nairobi or the government and Murang'a residents. They don't have that history. Therefore, when they look at the budget in other water, they think they have to balance with all the other budget for other water agencies. But they must understand that Nairobi Nairobi city requires a lot of water. And the attention of the government, even budgeting, even infrastructure-wise, are mostly on larger budgets for Nairobi, mostly to cater for the bigger population in Nairobi. And also the facilities that are in Nairobi, that is like the hospitals, the state house, the airport, all things you can talk about. Therefore, the budgets in Nairobi are always higher. But people who don't have the history of the issues between Murang'a and Nairobi, now when they get to government, they find that the water has a very big budget. They wonder why the water has a lot of budget, and then maybe some waterworks in some rural areas they don't have. They must understand, we as residents of Murang'a, they don't pay us the money they draw from Murang'a. We don't gain anything. We don't get anything from the water that we give Nairobi. What we can only benefit is infrastructure-wise. And that's what we negotiated. Because we found there are negotiations which are going around that Nairobi should pay. Yeah, they can pay maybe if they make. But the Nairobi mismanagement in Nairobi water can't make it. Yeah, you might find yourself trying to have something you never get. But what we agreed, which is achievable, we agreed on making sure that every resident of Murang'a has clean drinking water as we give water to Nairobi. Now they drew 1.1 billion. Now you realize the chairman of Earth Water, because he has no interest with the people in the basin, was part of the people who did that worked on the withdrawal of those money. Therefore, we have to agree. That's what we are saying. We as residents of Murang'a, the government owe us. And I know they will continue to do much more, because this affordable housing, major projects of affordable housing will be done in Nairobi. And they need more water. They need to do phase 2 of Northern Corrector Tunnel. But now, when they start now antagonizing the residents of Murang'a, it will be chaotic. They will we will be seen as leaders of Murang'a as if we are not supporting the government. But they are the one who has provoked the residents of Murang'a. Because that consensus matrix we worked, we sat with people, with the balazas, we agree, people could not agree. They could say, no, first of all, stop the Northern Corrector Tunnel until they do this project. But we told them that's not realistic. Because these are projects that may take 10 to 15 years. But the people of Nairobi cannot wait. Therefore, they go concurrently. Therefore, what we are saying is that those people in government, who have gotten in government, we need to educate them that the issue of water between Nairobi and Murang'a is a very contentious issue. And the way they start provoking the residents of Murang'a, it will bring more crisis. It will bring more crisis to the government, and we as people who support this government and want to support this government, we will be seen as if we are fighting the government. That's why we are telling them, even though they deal with other waterworks agencies the way they are, without considering maybe the resident or whatever, they'll be very careful on issues to do with other water. Because other water, we as leaders, we are jealously watching on the implementation of the consensus matrix that we agreed. And that will be only possible when we have people in that board and who are able now to watch. Like now, the withdrawal of 1.1 billion, it was affecting some of those projects for compensation that we had agreed for compensation of the locals of Murang'a at the Northern Corrector Tunnel. Therefore, we need the government, those people in that in the government ministry. They must understand the issues behind the budgets that are there considered for Nairobi and for Murang'a. Because Nairobi, there is a lot of work that is being done.
And you raise a very valid point, Mheshimiwa. For the benefit of the viewer, is that you have served in that board before you became the member of parliament for Kangema. You served as a board member at the Adi Water Development Services. But quite interestingly and curiously is the fact that the Ministry of Water, behind these appointments, is headed by one of your own. From Murang'a County, the Honorable Alice Wahome. And you have threatened to go to court as members of parliament if these appointments are not nullified, that you're going to go to court. And I saw Wakili Mureu there as senior counsel talking about it. My question is, has it gotten to the point that members of parliament from the Kenya Kwanza side are addressing a government through press conferences? And on top of it, the cabinet secretary comes from Murang'a. Just a call away.
Not just a call. No, we have followed this issue. That's when I think the issue of withdrawal money happened maybe a month ago or two. Maybe a month ago. And we have been trying to consult on her and to push her and to tell her we need you to reverse mostly on this issue of appointment. Because now the representation that is that board of Adi Water is the one that is affecting the issues or provoking the issues that are happening because they don't have interest of Murang'a residents at heart. Now, when she tells us that she will act maybe 1 week, another week, no, we have no option. Furthermore, after 14 days as we have agreed, we are going to sue her. Because she is the appointing authority. Is the cabinet secretary who appoints us board. Therefore, we don't care because now the issue is the residents of Murang'a will turn against us. Therefore, we are just telling the CS and also the president of the country and the deputy president, tread carefully on the issue of Murang'a. The issue of Murang'a, they are conjoined with the issue of Adi Water. Because Adi Water is the institution that we agreed with under the ministry, that they are the one who will facilitate the implementation of consensus matrix of giving Murang'a resident water as they draw water for Nairobi. Therefore, as they continue maybe not taking seriously on this issue, because we raised it between ourselves. We could not have gone to the media if maybe we could have agreed. But when we realize this thing is now moving another level, and we are very careful that we have a feeling that even now the budgeting that is happening will continue to lose money, which could have been budgeted for the matrix that we had agreed. Therefore, we are just telling Arizo Home, she must understand that that institution, the Minister of Water, we thank the President for giving her. We were convinced that was one of the issues because I know the President have a bigger plan for giving Nairobi water and adding more water in Nairobi. Even we are planning more projects to do for Nairobi in Murang'a. There is the Maragua 4 Dam. Maragua 4 Dam is a big dam that's supposed to be done in Murang'a. It will serve Murang'a residents for drinking water and also Nairobi residents. The Murang'a 4 Dam, they need to do the phase 2 of Northern Corrector Tunnel because now with the concept of housing, they need to do more on to add more water for in Nairobi. But we have to tell them that of Northern Corrector Tunnel because now with the concept of housing, they need to do more on to add more water for in Nairobi. But we have to tell them that the issue of Murang'a and the Adi Water and the issue of that we agreed on water, that's something we cannot compromise. We will not compromise that one. We will not compromise. We have to fight for our people. But we don't have to go all that route. Let's have a chairman who understands the issues of Murang'a. Let's have a members of the board who understands the issues of Murang'a. And to be quiet. It was extremely quiet. It was chaotic. The fight that was between 2015 and 2017, it was extremely quiet. People were fighting.
I remember.
People were fighting. We went to court. The tunnel was stopped, everything. But now, immediately, the Murang'a residents realized that the government has taken attention on their projects and many projects have started. Like now, we have the project that is called Gatanga Water. That's drawing around 10,000 cubic water from Dakaine Dam. And give to the residents of Gatanga. Is almost, I think it has stopped. because of financing. We have Idanga, which is supposed to give the people of Idanga lower. We have a project like Kahari Matara that is in Kangema. There is a project also that is supposed to improve the intake in Tudo. That's giving also Kangema. There are a lot of Gatango. So many projects that are stored. Therefore, if these projects stall, the blame will be on us as leaders, mostly as the leaders who supported Kenya Kwanza. Because we'll be told now, we told you.
And that means the entire of Muranga.
The entire of Muranga will rise against us. Therefore, you have to tell them the issue of water and Muranga and other water should be taken carefully. And the management also for other water should also consider the issues to do with Muranga residents. But in the management, I think has no problem. Because now when money is drawn without their consent, and now the chairman of the board facilitates, now that's where the problem is coming. Therefore, me, I wish to beg my president, the deputy president, and the minister for water, just tread this issue of Muranga very carefully. I was in it. It made me lose 2017 election because I supported the government as a leader of majority for Muranga. I supported the government on the issue of Northern Collector Tunnel because it was you have to be honest to yourself. Because when you say we can't give Nairobi people water, that's not factual. But as we give them, we have to agree on modalities to give the residents of Muranga water.
All right.
That's what we agreed.
Fantastic.
Therefore, what I want to say is that I think we just want the government. We don't want this fight. We just want the smooth the smooth operations that were going on. And also the project implementation, how they were going on. We just want that normalcy to come back. And the people of Muranga are just good. They will still continue giving Muranga resident water. But when you provoke them, I know the crisis that will be there.
Very an interesting one. Of course, hoping the Cabinet Secretary for Water, the Honorable Alice Muthoni Wahome, is of course listening. Let's stand, or rather shine the spotlight on other national issues other than water. Because yesterday you saw the return of the opposition leader, Raila Odinga. I was with you here before the discussion of the finance bill. That's water under the bridge the president has signed into law. But now there are the proposals by the Azimio coalition, your colleagues on the other side of parliament, as regards, the general operations of how Kenyans should behave in the coming weeks, including, going to work by means of walking. So I want us to take a short breather. When we come back, we talk about the proposals by the opposition leader. Yesterday, of course, they convened on the 7th, the Sabasaba day, for a clear roadmap on how the opposition is going to counter the finance law. It is no longer a bill. It is now a law. We take a breather. We're coming back in a minute. Welcome back. Let's talk about the outcome of the opposition rally yesterday at the Kamukunji grounds. The Honorable Raila Odinga announced probably, an announcement of another roadmap of how to oppose the finance law on the Sabasaba day. But of course, their take-home, some of what he suggested are the methods the opposition is going to apply to pressure President William Ruto to shelve proposals in the finance law. And one of them is walking to work. As a way of denying government this fuel tax. Do you think that's a feasible proposal? How do you react as a member of Kenya Kwanza?
Okay, one thing is that we know it was not a popular bill. It was not a popular bill, but we had to do it because the status of the nation, and also we had to finance the budget. And one of the most critical things that we need to do is that now that we have signed it law, and now the government will be able to make good money, let Kenyans feel the impact positively on the finance bill. The pain they will get, then they feel the positive part of it when now the money is utilized in the right way. Secondly, mostly whenever, like a parent, you take a loan, and loan money is no, you don't feel the pain when using it. And that's how the government has been doing. It has been very easily taking loans even for paying salaries and whatever, but there was no pain. Even when people were stealing that money, the pain was, nobody cared. But if you now touch this money that people are honestly feeling the pain, you see the reaction that people will be on. Therefore, I think it's not the right time for Raila to go on demonstration. He should have waited. First of all, we get the money, and now he oversight on how we use the money. If there, by any chance, money is being misused with evidence, I think that could be the right time for him to be seen that he's working for us. Because what happened, you see, this finance committee, the finance committee has 7 members from opposition and 8 members from the government. Therefore, the membership is 15 members. Therefore, you find the numbers. The numbers could have come out with a dissenting opinion. That's what I was waiting for when we went for the parliamentary group meeting. I was waiting for Raila to advise his members in the finance committee to go and come up with a dissenting finance bill that is favorable to their opinion. But when they went for the parliamentary group meeting, they never discussed something like that. The members who are in finance committee for Azimio, who are appointed by Azimio, they supported the bill. Therefore, I think this is just a way of trying to show the public that they are supporting them. But honestly, they were not for the public. And also, if not, they also realized they have interest on some project that they want to be financed, because also the members from those areas, mostly, some of the pending bills and projects that has not been done were initiated by the handshake government, whereby he was part of it. Therefore, I know, for them, deep in their heart, they were supporting the finance bill because they had interest. Because the biggest issue I was waiting when they went for PG is that they will come up with a dissenting finance bill that will be voted on the date that we are voting for finance bill. That the Azimio has their own format of finance bill, which has come from the committee. The difference between membership is just one member. When you go down to the budget committee, the difference between, I think there are 21, the difference between the membership of the budget committee and for Azimio and the membership of budget committee for Kenya Kwanza is just one member. Therefore, those members in the budget committee from Azimio, and wale nini kabisadi wanaingiaga kwa hizo committee, already wamemeka project zao zile watafanyiwa. Therefore, they were supporting the financing of that budget.
But to be fair to them, they tried to present amendments on the floor of the House when you were discussing the finance bill, but it appeared like Kenya Kwanza was very clear on shooting them down.
Now, what I think the best way, because most of the things are done in the committee level. At the committee level, they could have come up with another dissenting opinion on the finance bill. At the committee level. Okay. That's what they could have brought to the parliament, and that's what they could have been voting for. As we vote for our finance bill, they vote for the dissenting opinion finance bill. But now, for them, when they went for the PG, they never discussed about it. He did not command the people at that finance committee. He did not command them not to support the bill. They supported it. The members who are in the finance committee at that PG, the other area was waiting for is for him to command the people at the finance committee not to support the finance bill. But they supported it. All right. Therefore, whatever he's just doing is public preying on the public, and those opinions of people working, they can't work. They can't work after all. But the one thing, what I think and my heart, my prayer is that our government should be extremely careful on how we will spend this money. This money that we have collected with a lot of pain from our people, that if this corrupt activities are found on this money, people will be very rough on this government. It will be extremely rough. They will be extremely rough. They are patiently waiting to see how it will be implemented. Therefore, my president, my deputy president, you have to be extremely careful. And you have to be very little working against corruption on these issues. Because if you allow corruption on this money, Kenyans will be rough. They'll become rough because of the pain they are going through in the financing that budget. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa Kihungi, for your time. We've spent quite some considerable amount of time, of course, discussing the water issues in central Kenya, as well as the finance bill. And indeed, as you rightfully say, the ball is in President William Ruto's court as regards the expenditure of this hard-earned money that is being gotten from the Kenyans in the finance law. And of course, all our eyes again will be on the president. Thank you very much for your time. You were speaking to the Member of Parliament for Kangema, that is the Honorable Peter Irungu Kihungi. As for now, I want to hand you to Daniel Wahome, who is on standby with the sports.